This is Major Lewis of the Commonwealth Minutemen. Happy to report the Minutemen forces have retaken Fort Independence, also known as the Castle. Stay tuned to this frequency for Minutemen alerts and Commonwealth news. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It's just past 2:30. Nothing new to report. Stay safe out there, people. It's 6 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. Got a report here of a wandering ghoul pack near Nordhagen Beach. Any Minutemen in the area, please respond. That is all for our news for tonight. Stay safe out there, people. This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. A thank you letter from the settlers at Nordhagen Beach, thanking the Minutemen for protecting them against the raider gangs, as well as announcing that Easy Street Downs is officially cleared of all raiders. Furthermore, they have sent us a shipment of fresh fish for us to enjoy here at the castle, as a token of gratitude. Thank you to the settlers of Nordhagen Beach. That's all for the day. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It is just past 2:30. Some news from the northeastern part of the Commonwealth. Any settlers and Minutemen who are looking for a new spot to settle down, we have found a good location for a brand new town near coordinate marker 9C. If you want to check it out, feel free to. It consists of several small cabins, a large warehouse-like structure in the center, and another warehouse-like structure off to the side. Plenty of fertile fields for farming, wide open, but also easily defendable. Hopefully one day this new settlement will flourish into a great town. That's all for our news for today, folks. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It's just past 7 a.m. Alert. We have reports of a raider base at the Federal Ration Stockpile Reserve, just south of the Sunshine Tidings settlement. Any Minutemen in the northeastern part of the Commonwealth, please respond, as they are not able to defend themselves yet. We also have another report of a small gunner outpost nearby. Once the raider threat at the Ration Reserve has been dealt with, all Minutemen find and destroy that gunner outpost so they cannot pose a threat to our new settlement. Thank you to our listener, Rantzilla, for reporting this to us. That is all for the day, folks. Stay safe out there. It's 11 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. Some news. The raider gang at the Federal Ration Stockpile have been successfully defeated, with their raider boss dead and the remaining raiders scrambling in a retreat. We have also successfully taken out the gunner outpost located on the highway on-ramp, meaning that Sunshine Tidings is now safe. In a further bit of news, any Minutemen in the vicinity of 10 Pines Bluff or Outpost Zamoja, could you please go investigate, as there have been reports of raiding of caravans by an unknown group in power armor with laser rifles. That is all for today's news. Stay safe out there, people. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It's just past 8 o'clock. Alert! Attention all Minutemen. We have a call from help from the settlement of Country Crossing. Any Minutemen in the vicinity, please respond. In Commonwealth news, we are continuing to investigate the mysterious raiding of caravans near 10 Pines Bluff and Outpost Zamoja. If anyone has any information on the matter, please contact the Minutemen. We have our best investigators and soldiers currently working on the case. However, we've gotten nothing but dead ends. That's all for today, folks. Stay safe out there. It's 11 p.m. here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. I hope you've all had a good day. Some news from the Commonwealth. The ghoul problem at Country Crossing has been dealt with, and they have joined the Minutemen. Welcome, Country Crossing. We are happy to have you here. The investigation into the disappearing caravans are still continuing. We have a handful of small leads, however, nothing substantial yet. We hope to get to the bottom of this soon. Also, a quick PSA. Avoid long neck Lukowski canned food, as multiple people here at the castle have gotten severe food poisoning from eating it, as well as reports of food poisoning out in the wasteland. We will investigate it once the caravan situation is over with. That's all for today's news. Stay safe out there, people. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. It's just past 9:30. This was just delivered by robots. Anyone in the vicinity of Grey Garden, please go take a look at what they might need help with. It is located just north of Oberlin Station across that bridge. In other news, we are continuing to investigate the mysterious raiding of caravans near 10 Pines Bluff and Outpost Samonja. We believe we may have identified the group, however, we are still looking into it. However, any crews in the northern and northeastern parts of the Commonwealth, remain vigilant and keep your eyes open. That is all for today, folks. Stay tuned to Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. It's just past 10 p.m. here, and it's time for a Radio Freedom special report. We have successfully dispatched the caravan raiders near Outpost Samonja and 10 Pines Bluff. We located the small group and followed them back to their base camp just east of the Slog, where we were able to successfully use a Minutemen task force to dispatch them. Upon raiding their camp, we found multiple pieces of combat armor, laser and plasma weapons, pieces of power armor, information on how to construct high-tech turrets, and successfully located who the organization is. We have reason to believe that this small base camp has ties to a group known as the Enclave. Information on the Enclave is extremely limited, so if anyone has any information regarding who they might be and any other future threats, please let us know. We must prepare ourselves for any future encounters with them. That is all for today, folks. Stay safe out there and rest easy knowing that the Minutemen have always got your back. This is Radio Freedom. It's 10 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. I hope you're all having a good day. Alert! Attention all Minutemen. We have reports of a kidnapping at Oberlin Station. Any Minutemen in the vicinity, please respond. They are located just south of Grey Gardens and just northwest of Vault 81. Also, following up on some previous news that we forgot to mention in our last broadcast, the situation at Grey Garden has been resolved, and Grey Garden have successfully joined the Minutemen. We're happy to have them here. In other Commonwealth news, we have been working to successfully reverse engineer the power armor we found with the Enclave. However, we haven't really been able to get much results of it. It appears to be an advanced model of power armor unlike anything we have seen before. However, they did have a large reserve of fusion cores, so expect to see the rolling out of T-45, T-51, and even a little bit of T-60 Minuteman power armor divisions across the Commonwealth. That is all for today, folks. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. Attention Minutemen, we have a report of a new settlement location in the south part of the Commonwealth, in a swampy location. However, there are reports of some sort of strange beasts slumbering nearby. Be careful out there. In other news, the situation at Oberlin Station has been successfully resolved, and the kidnapped person has been returned to their family. In other news, the first rollout of power armor has begun. Our first division of T-45 outfitted soldiers are now patrolling near Hangsman Alley, investigating some recent issues. Some other locations include divisions of T-45 located near Sanctuary, Starlight Drive-In, Sunshine Tidings Co-op, and Nordhagen Beach, as well as T-55 patrolling the northeast sectors and the central sectors of the Commonwealth, as well as a T-65 division based here in the castle. That's all for today, folks. Stay safe out there. It's 10:30 p.m. here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. I hope you're all staying safe. First off, some news. We'd like to apologize about being absent the last few weeks. Our radio tower was down for maintenance, however, we are back. Now for news. Grey Garden has officially joined the Minutemen. Them and their fleet of Mr. Handy robots will prove useful. We're happy to have you here. In other news, a lighthouse has been spotted near the coast of the Commonwealth that appears to make a good spot for a settlement. Anyone in the vicinity, please go be sure to check it out. It is just to the southeast of Coastal Cottage. Alert! Attention all Minutemen. We have a request for assistance from Somerville Place. They appear to be having an issue with ghouls. Anyone in the southwestern part of the Commonwealth, be sure to respond. That is all for our news for tonight. Stay safe out there, people. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It is just past 6 o'clock. An update on the Enclave situation. The power armor we captured for them has unfortunately been bricked. Neither the frames nor armor pieces are usable at the moment. However, despite that setback, we were still able to obtain a large reserve of fusion cores and fusion cells, as well as plasma cells and other types of ammunition. So, we have not been entirely set back. Another reminder for the Commonwealth Minutemen: when interacting with the Brotherhood of Steel, be peaceful but cautious. Do not interfere with their missions unless absolutely necessary. It's better to be making friends than to be making enemies. With that, regarding our last statement about the lighthouse, we are leaving that to Brotherhood territory for the time being. That is all for today, folks. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter weekend. Attention all Minutemen. We have a call from help from a settlement known as the Slog in the northeastern part of the Commonwealth. It appears that supermutants have been raiding their caravans. Anyone in the vicinity, please respond immediately. Small update on the Enclave situation. No progress has been made. A reminder to all Minutemen forces and settlers in the Commonwealth. Maintain a friendly demeanor with the Brotherhood of Steel. I understand that they can have a little bit of overreach and be a little bit pushy, but we do not need to be making any more enemies, and they could potentially be future allies. Some other news: the Minutemen have begun work on outreach in order to better connect Diamond City, Good Neighbor, and Bunker Hill. Hopefully, by connecting these three settlements, putting them under Minutemen defense, and strengthening their relations, it'll create a brighter future for the Commonwealth. In other news, the Children of Adam have reached out for Minutemen protection. So, if any Children of Adam come looking for assistance, be sure to offer them any help they might need. I know all of you were likely already, but a quick reminder that they are now friendly allies. Other news: a salvaging party this Thursday at Big John Salvage just north of Diamond City. If you want to help out and gather some supplies for the Minutemen, be sure to be there, as we can use all the help we could get. That is all for this broadcast. Stay safe out there, folks. This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. It is just now 10 o'clock. Attention all Minutemen, we have reports of a potential Enclave base just south of here, in between the GNN complex and Merc Water Construction. Any Minutemen, prepare a task force and full response. In other news, success at the Slog. The Super Mutant Raiders have been successfully dealt with, meaning the caravans to and from the Slog are now safe to travel freely. They have decided to join the Minutemen, providing us with a wonderful supply of fresh tarberries. Also, additional news: cleaning supplies are now being added to the standard Minutemen kit, following one Minuteman private getting a little bit overambitious with a Ripper on the last mission. No progress has been made on cracking the Enclave power armor suits yet, so we are potentially looking at that being a bust. In further news, reach-out attempts between Diamond City and Bunker Hill are going fairly well as between Bunker Hill and Good Neighbor. However, reach-out between Diamond City and Good Neighbor are not going well, but that doesn't mean we won't stop trying. That is all for tonight's broadcast, folks. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It's just past 2:30. All quiet across the Commonwealth, no Minutemen alerts. Now, for some news. We successfully launched a raid against the Enclave base south of the castle, near Merc Water Construction. We got our hands on several new sets of power armor, all of which have been bricked, unfortunately. However, we will add that to the existing batch to continue trying to crack open. We also got a large reserve of fusion cells, 45 ammo, and plasma round ammo, as well as some combat armor and combat rifles. The diplomatic efforts between Diamond City and Good Neighbor are still at an unfortunate standstill. Neither Mayor Hancock nor Mayor McDonough are willing to budge. But we will not stop trying, as a future together is the best future for the Commonwealth. In some other additional news, Abernathy Farm has announced that they're doing a Grange sale. Apparently, things are going fairly well there. In one last bit of news, the salvaging party at Big John's Salvage Yard is still on for this Thursday. Be there if you're willing to give us a hand. That's all for news today, a little bit on the shorter side, but we hope you all tune in tomorrow. This has been Radio Freedom. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Commonwealth Minutemen. It is now 9 o'clock. Attention all Minutemen units and civilians of the Commonwealth. Please remain calm. The airship that entered Commonwealth airspace earlier today has caused quite a stir. We have deduced that they are a part of an organization known as the Brotherhood of Steel. We have interacted with the Brotherhood of Steel on several occasions before, but that was merely small patrols and the units held up in the Cambridge Police Department ruins. We are unsure what their exact motives or intentions are, but we urge you to interact with them cautiously and peacefully. Make sure that they get a well first impression of the Commonwealth. And above all else, stay safe. If you're in trouble or if there's any danger, do not hesitate to raise the alarm. Send up a flare gun, alert your nearest outpost, call into Radio Freedom. Minutemen will be there to assist you. To lighten up some news, the salvage party at Big John's Salvage Yard went fairly successful, despite the super mutants that were there that we were not aware of, but they were dispatched by the 105th Division, also known as the T-45ers. They dispatched them with minimal casualties on the Minutemen's side, and made sure that those super mutants won't be back anytime soon. In other news, while we have yet to crack the armor sets themselves, we have successfully unlocked the power armor chassis for the sets that we liberated from the Enclave, which means expect the rollout of even more power armor to your local areas soon. That is all for today, folks. And remember, this is Radio Freedom. The Minutemen are always here for you. Stay safe out there. It's 9 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. I hope you're all having a good day. Alert! Attention all Minutemen. We have a call for help from a settlement. Anyone in the vicinity of Country Crossing, please respond. A feral ghoul pack is taken up nearby them, and they're wandering closer and closer to the settlement each day, and have even started attacking their settlers. If you're in the region, please respond. In other news, an update on the Brotherhood situation. We are continuing to investigate them. We still have reason to believe that their intentions are peaceful, so remain cautious but open. The salvaging party at Big John Salvage went extremely well. We are still shifting through all the valuable resources we have brought back. Tons of circuitry, gears, screws, electronics, and anything else you can imagine have come out of the salvage yard, which means you can expect the rollout of automated turrets to all Minutemen-aligned settlements. One more thing, a call to all citizens of the Commonwealth. Whether you live in a settlement, whether you're a lone wolf wandering the wastes, or whether you're a part of a small group just making their way in lives. We are putting out a recruitment call for anyone to join the Commonwealth Minutemen. The castle gates are open for anyone who wishes to join us. We will provide food, shelter, rigorous training, and soon you'll be protecting the Commonwealth, one person at a time. That's all for this broadcast, folks. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It's just past 1 o'clock. No new Minutemen alerts today. Stay tuned. A thank you from the people of Country Crossing, as Minutemen responded and successfully solved the ghoul issue at the National Guard training yards. A small update, we have opened up a line of communication with the Brotherhood of Steel and are working on establishing a diplomatic connection with them. And this message is for the General, if you're listening. We have a bit of a situation at the castle. It's nothing to worry about. It's just...
Hello, General. You've never heard of me. My name's Ronnie Shaw, and you'll want to talk to me. All right. You can have your mic back. Don't you get your panties in a twist.
Ugh. Well, sorry about that, folks. Back to our regularly scheduled program. It's 4 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. I hope you're all having a safe day. Attention all Minutemen. We've had a call for help from one of our settlements. Anyone in the vicinity of Oberlin Station. A wild Yaogwai has been encroaching on the settlement and may be causing issues. Please respond. In other news, the Minutemen officially have artillery support. We will be dispatching artillery guns and operators to settlements across the Commonwealth. This is one step closer to making our world a better place. Some additional news. A new settlement has been founded at the former Starlight Drive-In Theater. It is wide open, flat, mostly paved, with a water purifier, plenty of farmland, and some new buildings being constructed already. It is believed to be the base for it could be a potentially very large, very profitable settlement. We are continuing to open diplomatic communications with the Brotherhood of Steel, and we'd like to remind all Minutemen to, while act peacefully with the Brotherhood of Steel, also be cautious. Final last bit of note, Ronnie Shaw has officially rejoined the Minutemen. If you're an older Minuteman, you might recognize the name, as there are lots of legends about her. Her training and expertise will be extremely valuable for the Minutemen. That's all for today, folks. Stay safe out there. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. I hope you all have a good day. Alert, attention all Minutemen. We've had reports of another Enclave encampment between Taffington Boathouse and 10 Pines Bluff. Minutemen patrols, muster, and prepare a response. A thank you from the people of Oberlin Station, as the wild Yaogwai that was terrifying them has been pacified. Other news, an update on Starlight Drive-In. Things are going fantastically well. A massive boom of settlers, wanderers, and wastelanders have been arriving at the settlement that call it their home. It is already the 7th most populated settlement in the Commonwealth. It looks like our predictions about a great future for them are coming true. Some other news. The first few settlements have already seen artillery rollout. These settlements include Sanctuary Hills, Merkwater Construction, Hangman's Alley, and 10 Pines Bluff. Now we have artillery looking out all over the Commonwealth to help keep you safe. That is all for today, folks. Stay safe out there. It's 9 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. I hope you are all having a good day. Alert! Attention all Minutemen. We've had a call for help. A man named Barney Rook is in trouble in the remains of the old Salem settlement. It would appear he is under attack by a large herd of mirelurks. Anyone in the vicinity, please respond. An update. Earlier today, a successful raid took place against an Enclave encampment in the western part of the settlement. All the Enclave soldiers were dispatched or retreated, meaning that the western part of the Commonwealth is now safe from Enclave tyranny. While we were unable to capture any power armor from the endeavor, we did capture valuable ammunition, fusion cores, and turret schematics, which we will be looking into to see about rolling out these new heavy laser turrets. In some other news, a thank you to the robots at Grey Garden, who have decided to supply the Minutemen Castle and all patrols with their excess food to allow us to focus on defending the Commonwealth. We thank you for your help. A large harvest just came in over at the Slog. If you're looking to get your hands on some sweet, juicy tar berries that are homegrown and taste delicious, be sure to go check that out. And, I have a note here from, Minutemen, told me to relay this. We now have a Discord server, and the link to that is in the descriptions and comments. Not exactly sure what that's all about, but the more Minutemen stuff, the better. That'll be all for today's broadcast, folks. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. It's 8 o'clock. No new Minutemen alerts? Stay tuned. Some news. We were able to successfully help Barney Rook with his mirelurk problem in the remains of the old Salem settlement. Minutemen arrived, help him get his turret system working again, and clear out the mirelurks. It has also been reported that now prospectors and potential businessmen and caravanners are poking around the old Salem settlement, thinking about potentially re-establishing it. However, we do advise being cautious, as there has been some strange reports from the western part of the town around the old Museum of Witchcraft. In some other news, at the National Guard training yard, which we previously cleared out of ghouls, some prospectors were doing some digging and found an old room previously sealed off that contained hundreds of Army surplus rifles and mountains of old ammunition for them. We are working on tallying it up and are planning on rolling out this new standardized rifle to the Minutemen all across the Commonwealth. A quick little news bit from our Minutemen intern reminding you once again that we have that new Discord server thing and that there will be another link in the comments. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be all for today's broadcast. This has been Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. Stay safe out there, people. It's 5 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. I hope you're all staying safe. Alert, attention all Minutemen. We have an immediate call for help from the settlement of Bunker Hill. All available Minutemen in the Commonwealth respond immediately. Intel on what exactly is happening is scarce. However, we know that there is some kind of looming threat or battle imminent. Get there as soon as possible, help the civilians erect a defense against the looming disaster, and protect civilian lives at all costs. All artillery within range of Bunker Hill, be ready. The castle will be deploying the 1st and 2nd Power Armored Brigades to assist in the coming battle. Now, on to a bit of news. The Minutemen have finally gathered enough supplies, manpower, and ammunition to begin the rollout of heavy artillery to all settlements across the Commonwealth, giving us total fire control over almost every single corner. Along with this artillery rollout, we'll also see the rollout of the new standardized Minutemen rifles that we found at the National Guard training yards, as well as ammunition for them, and at all Minutemen outposts and some of the more well-populated settlements, the rolling out of brand new automated turret systems. Another bit of news, a congratulations to Starlight Drive-In, whose population just reached 30. If you're living out there in a wasteland settlement, you know how harsh the conditions can be, meaning that for a settlement to thrive this quickly is an amazing achievement. Their commerce and industry is booming great, and they're even potentially looking at manufacturing. So if you're looking for a great booming place to live, you might have found your spot. That's all for today's broadcast. Stay safe out there, and remember, all Minutemen, report to Bunker Hill immediately. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here at Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. A report on the battle that took place at Bunker Hill last night. As soon as our broadcast went out, Minutemen forces began to trickle into Bunker Hill and prepared defenses and barricades, as well as get all non-combatant civilians into the underground tunnels beneath Bunker Hill to protect them. At 9:03 p.m., Institute forces launched their assault on Bunker Hill. We successfully held them off, with the garrison taking minimal damage. However, at 9:16, Brotherhood of Steel forces arrived via land and vertibird. Initially, fighting against the Institute with us, they demanded immediate entry so they could hunt down and kill 4 Generation 3 synths, who we identified as civilians. As it was our job to protect all citizens of Bunker Hill, we refused them entry. And as a result, Brotherhood of Steel forces opened fire on the Minutemen garrisons. What ensued was a 3-way battle between the Institute, Brotherhood of Steel, and Minutemen. We came out victorious, forcing the Institute and Brotherhood to retreat, as well as knocking out 2 Brotherhood vertibirds. We also would like to thank the unknown third party who assisted us in the battle. We do not believe they were civilian, as they were equipped with miniguns and heavily armored outfits. We are currently in peace talks with the Brotherhood of Steel as tensions are running high following the battle. But this is a simple reminder. The Minutemen are there to help, and interference with Minutemen assistance of settlements will not be tolerated. It is our job to protect the people from anyone, no matter the cost. That is all for this quick broadcast. Stay safe out there. It's 10 o'clock here, and you're tuned to Minuteman Radio. Alert, attention all Minutemen. We have an immediate call for help from the settlement of Green Top Nursery. There are some strange happenings to the south that are interfering with their trade routes just east of the Menford Memorial Hospital. Anyone in the vicinity, please go check that out. Apologies about the lack of broadcasts over the last week and a half. We had to do some impromptu maintenance on our radio tower following a power surge that fried multiple components. Let me tell you, finding replacement parts for this thing is not an easy task. The General has ordered all professional full-time Minutemen soldiers to report to the castle this time next week for proper military-grade training. From there, once your training is complete, you will be dispatched to the different settlements to teach the local militia there how to properly fight, combat effectiveness, as well as training methods to keep them in tip-top shape. We hope to turn the Minutemen from disjointed militia groups into a proper fighting force that is fit to defend the Commonwealth. A brief reminder to the Brotherhood of Steel. In the wake of our last broadcast, we got some messages coming in from Brotherhood members that were less than amicable. We'll put it this way. We don't care if you're a human, a ghoul, a synth, whether you're a part of a small farm in the middle of nowhere or the biggest city in the Commonwealth. We are defending the people. We will defend you. And a reminder that interference in Minutemen tasks will be seen as hostility. We don't want to fight you, but we are prepared to protect the Commonwealth at any minute's notice. That's going to be all for today's broadcast. I hope you're all having a safe day out there, and we should be returning to our regularly scheduled programs. This has been Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. This is Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. It is just past 9 p.m. All is quiet across the Commonwealth. Stay safe out there. An update at the situation at Greentop Nursery. Minutemen battalions went out to investigate the disturbance and found that it was in fact Generation 1 synths from the Institute. They were poking around an old abandoned subway station. We successfully dispatched them with not a single synth that we know of slipping through our grasp. This is a reminder to the Institute that the Minutemen is not to be messed with and that interference with Minutemen settlements will lead to conflict. A scavenging party is beheaded for Fort Hagen tomorrow morning. Feel free to join us, as word is that the armories down there are still intact. We're going to be searching for weapons, power armor, ammunition, and maybe if we're lucky, some functioning vehicles, though that is highly unlikely. Speaking of weapons and ammunitions, today marks the official finish of artillery rollout to all Minutemen settlements across the Commonwealth. All Minutemen officers are now being granted blue smoke grenades, allowing them to call in artillery to assist their platoons. Use them wisely. A congratulations to the settlement of Starlight Drive-In, who earlier today officially hit the milestone of 75 settlers in their settlement. Agriculture is booming. Fresh water is so much needed that they're importing it from other settlements because their purifiers can't keep up. And, much to the delight of us here at the castle and Minutemen across the Commonwealth, industrial complex has been constructed at Starlight Drive-In, and they are manufacturing 10mm, .308, and .45 ammunition that they have graciously decided to supply to the Minutemen. With this is the first step towards our ammunition crisis being solved and us being able to better protect the Commonwealth. That is all for today's broadcast. Stay safe out there. It's 10 o'clock and you're tuned to Minuteman Radio. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Nothing new to report. Stay safe out there, people. Some news. Some scientists working over at Taffington Boathouse believe that they may have developed a new system for water purification. This system would have water come out 10 times as fast, as well as be even more free from dirt, grime, and radiation than before. These systems are just in their beta phase. However, if things go well, then there could be fresh water for all of the Commonwealth to enjoy. In some other water-related news, the fellows at the Slog have been working on a system to de-irradiate water en masse. Their system is also in a prototype testing phase. However, it might allow filthy river, pond, and ocean water to be used safely on crops in order to boost food production. What we're looking at right now is a bright new future for the Commonwealth. What? You're sure? General, if you're listening to this, we need you at the castle immediately. There's a situation developing. All Minutemen, yellow alert, be on standby. This is a Radio Freedom priority broadcast. Attention all Commonwealth Minutemen. Code Orange. All Minutemen patrols return to the nearest settlement or outpost. And all reservists take up arms and prepare for battle. I repeat, Code Orange. All Minutemen patrols return to the nearest settlement or outpost. And all reservists and militia units, arm yourselves and prepare for combat. All Minutemen, Code Orange. Be ready for war. This is a Radio Freedom emergency broadcast. Attention all Commonwealth Minutemen. Institute forces have launched an all-out attack on the castle. Respond immediately. I repeat, Institute forces have launched an all-out attack on the castle. Respond immediately. All Minutemen out of response range. Prepare yourselves for war. We are at war with the Institute. Be ready for anything, as we have word that Institute forces have teleported on our location. Respond immediately. Alright, we look good. You getting the feedback from that? Alright, a little bit clearer? Let me just, better? Better or clear? Alrighty. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Commonwealth Minutemen. Happy to report that the Institute's vicious attack has been defeated. Last night, at 10 p.m. as the sun was setting, forces from the Institute launched an all-out assault here at the Minutemen HQ at the castle. It was a long and arduous battle over the course of 9 hours. However, as of 7 o'clock this morning, I am happy to announce that the Institute forces have fully retreated. It was a brutal battle, with Institute forces attacking from the northeast, southeast, and even using teleportation technology to drop directly on our location. It was a brutal battle. We lost 23 valiant Minutemen in the battle. However, their sacrifice was not in vain. Hundreds of Generation 1 and 2 synths have been destroyed, and dozens of Institute coursers killed. No doubt a devastating setback for the Institute. And now, we take the initiative. So this is a message for the Institute. The Minutemen are coming for you. There will be no defeat for the Minutemen. We will protect the Commonwealth no matter the cost. For too long, you have watched from the shadows. You have struck fear into the heart of the people of the Commonwealth, and you have taken us in the dark. Well, that will happen no longer. The Minutemen are coming for you, and we will not rest, we will not give up, and we will not stop until we ensure that you can never hurt another person ever again. The Institute will be destroyed, one way or another. And a message to the people of the Commonwealth. The Minutemen are here to stay. We're here to defend you, and we're here to help you. Do not be afraid to call for assistance in any situation. Also, be sure to report any movements of synths from the Institute to the Minutemen immediately. We need all the advantage we can get. Also, we'd like to apologize about the delay in this broadcast getting out. Our tower took some pretty hefty damage during the battle, and it took us some time to get the parts here to repair it. But we are fully operational now and should be back to our standard broadcast. Just know, the Institute has been beaten, and soon enough, they will be defeated. This has been Radio Freedom, voice of the Commonwealth Minutemen, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. Stay safe out there, people. This is Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. It is 9 o'clock. Attention all Minutemen. We have urgent calls from help from multiple settlements. Anyone in the vicinity of Hagman's Alley, Oberlin Station, Grey Garden, Starlight Drive-In, Sunshine Tidings Co-op, Sanctuary Hills, Ten Pines Bluff, Abernathy Farms, and Taffington Boathouse. Respond immediately. The Institute are moving against them, likely in order to cripple Minutemen supply lines. We can't lose a single settlement to them. We also have an additional call for help from a group of settlers held up in an old apartment building between the second bridge across the river through downtown Boston and Cambridge and Kendall Park. They are held up in a group of apartment buildings that do not have any name. Please assist them immediately. They have called for Minutemen aid and we cannot let it go unanswered. From here on out, Radio Freedom will be used strictly for Minutemen alerts during the Institute Minuteman War. That is all alerts for today. Stay safe out there and respond to anyone who calls for assistance. This has been Radio Freedom. It's 3 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. I hope you are all staying safe during these trying times. We have successfully fended off the first wave of Institute attacks against our settlements. Not a single settlement was lost, however, we were not without casualty. However, the war continues on. And we have an urgent message. All Minutemen Special Forces report to Fort Independence immediately, without delay. I repeat, all Minutemen Special Forces return to Fort Independence immediately, without delay. You are needed here now. That is all for this broadcast. Stay safe, stay vigilant. Be prepared for anything. The Institute will snoop to the lowest depths to win this war, but we will not let them reign tyranny across the Commonwealth. Stay safe out there. It's 5 o'clock here at Radio Freedom, Voice of the Minutemen. All across the Commonwealth, the only thing people are talking about was that massive explosion that originated at the old CIT ruins earlier today. I can confirm that that was the hidden location of the Institute, and that they have been destroyed. I am proud to say that the Minutemen were responsible. The General led a group of Minutemen Special Forces through the sewer system herself, into the heart of the Institute. From there, they were able to use the Institute's teleportation technology to call upon more Minutemen Special Forces, who proceeded to raid the place before planting a detonator charge on the facility's main reactor, teleporting out safely, and destroying the Institute once and for all. The Commonwealth is entering a new era of peace, thanks to the brave men and women who gave their lives during this battle. The Commonwealth can now rest easy, knowing that one of the biggest threats that have loomed over us for decades is now gone. However, our work is not complete here. There are still other threats to be dealt with, and other issues to handle. However, for now, we celebrate, as the dark hand that has loomed in the shadows is no more. We will now be returning to our regular Radio Freedom broadcasts. This has been Radio Freedom, Voice of the Commonwealth Minutemen. Stay safe out there, people.